I'm a beach person, and so I didn't know much about the Air Force, but I went to the Air Force Academy, and so as a cadet at 17, I'd never had any military experience in my family to speak of. I had an uncle who retired from the Navy, but he was actually a great uncle. I had another uncle who served during World War II, but by the time I got to know him, you know, that part of his life had passed. So I went to the Air Force Academy not knowing anything about the military. And so I did what all cadets do. You just live from one day to the next. Lord, please help me wake up tomorrow and help me get to the end of the day and not embarrass my family. So that's kind of how that worked out. So by the time I got to the end of my senior year, it came time to pick a base. And so I was an industrial engineer, operations research major. They took me up to this place at the Air Force Academy and they said, all right, cadet, you get to pick a base. And I said, really, you get to pick a base? And so he said, in your career field, there are these 4 choices you have. And so I looked at the map and didn't really know much about any of these bases, but I saw one called Eglin Air Force Base. And I said to the guy, I said, this base is at a place called Fort Walton Beach? He said, yeah. I said, well, I want that one. Knew nothing about the base, knew nothing about what they did, but didn't care because it was near a beach. So got to this beach town. It was as great as I imagined it was going to be, and went to Wright Baptist Church where I met Mrs. Wright, as it turns out. So I found Mrs. Wright, Vicky, at Wright Baptist Church. We met in Sunday school in the singles group, which is a fairly common story. And about 6 months after we met, we started dating, and 2.5 years later, we got married. And so my first official act after marrying her was to PCS her. So we PCS from there, from her hometown, and I think her parents eventually forgave me, but I'm not quite sure.